Now, in a big move for the Modi government, fugitive diamond heir and PNB fraud accused Nirav Modi has been arrested in London. Nirav was arrested from London's Holborn after Westminster Court issued a provincial arrest warrant against him. In a statement, Scotland Yard, which nabbed the fugitive businessman, said he was arrested on behalf of Indian authorities. Nirav was today produced in the Westminster Court and the next date of hearing will be on the 29th of March. India too will present its arguments. Sources in Central Bureau have now told India Today that the process of extradition is on. Remember, Nirav stands accused of money laundering to the tune of 13,000 crore, corruption, cheating and criminal misconduct. I want to connect to my colleague Rahul Shrivastav, who's with us right now. Rahul, will you take us to the trajectory of this case from here on? Will it follow the same as that of Vijay Mallya, or is it going to be any different?
Preeti, I think there might be a lesser amount of time, though the British courts do have a slow, long drawn-out process as far as extraditions are concerned. But compared to Vijay Mallya, there is one interesting element which is different, is that in the Vijay Mallya case, a lot of time was wasted when he objected regarding the condition of Indian jails. Now that issue, it seems, is already set right as far as the British courts is concerned, because a precedence has been set after the Indian government assured the British courts that the conditions are not as bad and there will be a proper jail as far as Mr. Mallya is concerned. So that precedence out of it, perhaps the legal system may take long, but not as long as Vijay Mallya. The second very important element is that over the last several months, if the narrative against Prime Minister Nirav Modi was Rafale for corruption and then largely for backing people who are involved in siphoning or embezzling the funds from the banks or the exchequer concerned, Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya and others were the opposition's trophies. Now with people like Christian Michel already extradited to India, proceeding against Mr. Vijay Mallya already at an advanced stage, and now Nirav Modi being arrested, I think it does not totally free the government as far as the opposition charge is concerned, but definitely does provide some kind of a security shield. It also fits in. Remember, the arrest has come, the news about the arrest has come on a day when the Prime Minister is meeting thousands and lakhs of chowkidars, and the name, his Twitter title has Chowkidar. The Nirav Modi arrest does fit in to the narrative much better than it could have otherwise. And that is why I will say that it will definitely play out in the political arena, with the BJP trying to exploit what has happened in the British courts as a part of its narrative to say that it is tough on terror, it is tough on national security and against corruption.
All right, stay with me, Rahul. Let's cut across to the next news break coming in on Nirav Modi himself. What we are getting to know is that the hearing on the bail is on. Briefly, after the opening remarks by the prosecution, the defendant is arguing to grant bail. Charges are politically motivated, is what the defendant, Nirav Modi's defendant, is saying. Have been cooperating with agencies, which is that's what the defendant says. The judge has taken a break and is going through the documents. Well, this is on the bail plea. I am joined right now by my colleague Raveena Tandon on the phone line, and she's going to take us through on what's happening inside. Raveena, what we are getting in is that what you're reporting is that the hearing on his bail plea is going on, and his arguments are that this entire thing is politically motivated, and surprisingly he says he's been cooperating when he's been on the run. He's a fugitive.
Yes, indeed. The very interesting bit is that actually he was supposed to be, because when the arrest warrant is issued in extradition cases, it so happens that the solicitors get involved, and he has been in touch with the same solicitor, Anand Dubey, of Mr. Vijay Mallya. So they had ascertained that it's going to be appearing in the court and in front of the judge on the 25th of May, as we were contemplating, and the sources were telling us. But he went to Metro Bank, and that's where his name flagged up, and the police were called, and therefore he was arrested yesterday and produced today in the court. He has appeared in a white shirt. He was sitting and very keenly listening to everything that was happening, and as of now, his defense, he's been brought in here by the CPS was arguing that he has fraudulently taken out money, and the defense is saying that he came here lawfully At that time, when he came to the UK, there was no case that was on. His son studies here in the UK, and he is here. He works in a company called Diamond Holding. He takes a salary of £20,000. He pays tax. He has been paying national insurance. He has a national insurance number. He intends to vote, and he has refused to go back, and therefore he's going to contest the extradition request. Something that's very, very interesting is that they said that he has made himself visible, he has cooperated, and therefore on 500,000 fine, and also knowing exactly where he lives, he told his address. He lives in New Oxford Street. He should be allowed bail. Something very interesting to note here is that he has been preparing this for a very, very long time now. And he's been in touch with Anand Dubey and the solicitors. All this thing of coming out and making himself visible, and also paying the national insurance, getting himself on a payroll, paying tax, is a long-drawn preparation that Mr. Nirav Modi has been doing living here in the UK.
All right, Raveena, thank you for joining us with that quick update. We'll keep coming back to you as that hearing progresses at the Westminster Court in London. I want to connect to Manish Pandey as well. Manish, what are the agencies back home telling you? I'm sure there's a lot of credit that's going to be attached to the government, but ultimately the question is what took so long? Because one thing has been clear, he's been in London.
Yeah, well, Preeti, as far as agencies are concerned, both the CBI and ED are keeping a close eye on what is happening today at the Westminster Court. Now, what we have been given to understand is that Nirav Modi has not given his consent to the extradition. It was very obvious because he wanted to challenge this extradition proceeding by the Indian agencies, and that is exactly what he did before the court today. And also he produced his national insurance slip also, where he said that he is getting a salary of 25,000 per month. Also, his lawyer has argued before the court that he is cooperating with the agencies, but this is not true as far as ED and CBI are concerned, because they are claiming that since now, from the time this case has been lodged until date, there has been no communication from Nirav Modi. 3 non-bailable warrants has been issued against him, but till date nothing has been done by Nirav Modi, and there has been no communication from Nirav Modi. So as of now, the bail argument, what we have been given to understand, is going on. The next date of hearing is already set for March 29, but we have to wait and watch that what exactly happens for the when the bail application will be heard by the court. Back to you.
All right, Manish, thank you for joining us. Let's move on in the bulletin. While the hearing ensues at Westminster Court, we're going to keep a very keen eye on the developments there. Nirav Modi's bail application being heard at the Westminster Court. All right, so that's the latest that we've gotten, and I think that's big breaking news coming in. And so there's been no bail. No bail for Nirav Modi. What does that actually mean? Will he be taken into custody in the United Kingdom? What does no bail mean? And how much of an impetus will it give the government back home in India? What we can tell our viewers is that his bail petition was being heard at the Westminster Court. It has been decided by the learned judge that no bail would be given. He had defended himself on account of calling this entire situation a political conspiracy, and that he was in fact cooperating with the agencies back home. However, he's been a fugitive, he's been nabbed, and the UK court has rejected Nirav Modi's bail plea. Now, what does this factually mean for Nirav Modi? What happens to him for here on? Will he be taken into preventive custody? What does the breakdown of it all actually come down to? We're going to try and connect to Raveena Tandon, my colleague, on the phone line, and I believe Raveena is not with us, but let me cut across to Manish. Manish, would you be able to give us a better understanding? What does no bail mean for Nirav Modi? Will he be taken into preventive custody? What kind of custody would it be?
Yeah, well, it's a big development in this case, because Nirav Modi has not been granted bail by the Westminster Court, and he will be in the custody of Metropolitan Police till March 29. So it means that what we were hearing was a procedural thing, that he'll be granted bail. The court has denied bail, and the argument which was given by the representative of Indian agencies is that if he is granted bail, he won't be surrendering before the court. He may disappear, and that is why the court had decided that he should not be granted bail. Till March 29, Nirav Modi will be in custody of the Metropolitan Police in London. Back to you.
Okay, Manish, break it down for us once again. No bail, of course, a huge development back home. Also, the government would be riding on that, the fact that no bail has been given. Once again, Manish, take us through the process. What does it actually mean, no bail in Nirav Modi's case? What is going to happen to him from here on?
Well, the next date of hearing is March 29. It means that Nirav Modi will be again produced before the Westminster Court, where again he will argue the grounds. Now, today he gave the argument that he is cooperating with the agencies. One of his passport has been seized by the UK Home Office. The expired passport are already with the UK Home Office. He also said that he is an employee of a company and he is getting a salary of £25,000. He also gave a reasoning that he has a child of 5-year-old, and his education and other things he has to take. He has to be
turned down by the UK government. Manish, I'm coming right back to you, just interrupting you a bit. We're going to break down the arguments a little, but the end result of those arguments is no bail for Nirav Modi. While we get connected to Raveena to give us a breakdown on what actually happens to him from here on, what does no bail mean while Nirav Modi right now is in London? We're going to get a breakdown of that, but there's going to be implication back home, and I'll bring in our national affairs editor Rahul Shrivastav back in this conversation, and huge political implications of no bail for Nirav Modi. Rahul.
Yes, certainly, Preeti. See what it does. First and foremost, the moment he was arrested, even if he was granted bail, the fact that would have remained that the courts would have restrained him from leaving UK. That means the Indian investigating agencies, like earlier, won't have to go around the entire international haystack for looking for a needle called Nirav Modi. He would have been restrained in England. That means the agencies would have kept tabs on him. The second very important factor is that if the courts are denying bail, will the Indian agencies do get a certain amount of space to quiz him? Because that will be the first time since he escaped India, defrauding Punjab National Banks and several banks with 14,000 crore worth of money. The fact remains that will they get a certain amount of time to question him? What is going against Nirav Modi also is that, unlike Vijay Mallya, who had an NRI card already because he was a member of parliament, also an NRI, against Nirav Modi, what is going against him, as agency sources are saying, that he left India, he was in India while he had an Indian passport. He also held another passport from Belgium. That perhaps, since it's an offence, it was being talked about as a premeditated attempt to commit a fraud, and that is why holding on to two passports. And that is why perhaps the action on him could well be more stringent than against Vijay Mallya. Also the fact that it is a federal offence in terms of embezzlement, much severe than the case of Mr. Vijay Mallya, that Mr. Nirav Modi's case may get a different treatment in the British court compared to India. And also what we can say is that the order from the government is very clear to the ED: hire the best lawyers, hire the best resources, mount the best possible evidence against Nirav Modi. What has also gone against him is the fact that he has done embezzlement and similar defrauding
Rahul,
in Hong Kong, where it opened offices.
I'm going to interrupt you. And why am I doing so purely is because we're cutting across to my colleague Raveena Tandon, who's joining us live right now from London. And Raveena, what the viewers today want to know is what happens to Nirav Modi. While he is in London, no bail for him, what does it physically mean for Nirav Modi?
So one straightforward thing that it means is that he's been remanded in custody, so he will be in custody and till the 29th of March, when it's the next date, and now this case will go in front of Judge Emma Arbuthnot, the Chief Magistrate, who actually sat all through Mr. Vijay Mallya's case as well. So that's number one. Something that came extremely loud and clear was that he had been preparing for this entire exercise for a very long time. But quickly, let me add that the reason why he has not been granted bail is because he's too much of a flight risk. That really means is that he has too much of money and he has too much of motivation to run away. So that's why he has been remanded in custody. That can be reviewed on the 29th. And now going forward to the defense had argued, and can I please at this point bring in Mick Brown, who is the journalist from the Telegraph, who actually broke this entire story. Can I have you, Nick, here? Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. I'm quickly cutting across to him because he has to go and file a report as well. So, Mick, what do you make of him not having been given the bail?
Well, I'm not altogether... Sorry, London traffic. I'm not altogether surprised that he hasn't been given bail. Although his defence made, I thought, quite a powerful argument about why he should be given bail. I mean, the fact that he's been living here for the last year, that he has a national insurance number, they argue that he wasn't a flight risk. But then on the other hand, the Crown Prosecutor made an equally powerful argument about why he should be given bail, which is to do with the fact primarily that he has ample resources to flee if he wanted to flee. Yes. And obviously the judge made the decision that he would be refused.
Something very interesting, Mr. Brown, that he was actually almost nabbed from Metro Station. Like he was supposed to appear in the court as per the solicitors had agreed on the 25th of March, and then he went to Metro Bank and he was nabbed. So do you think you have any information if he was handcuffed and brought and all that dramatics? Really?
I don't have any information about that. No, I mean the fact that he was arrested yesterday came as much a surprise to me as it does to everybody else. As you say, there was this thing called an arranged arrest, where he would have presented himself to the police on the 25th, I think the date was. But the police obviously made the decision to act much sooner than that and arrested him yesterday.
A lot of preparation going on by Mr. Nirav Modi. I think the appearance that he made for all of us, maybe it was an appearance because he wanted to show the willingness to be there. Could you tell me, how do you read the case and the preparation that he has made of paying taxes and getting a salary and everything?
Well, he's clearly very well lawyered up, as we say. I mean, he's hired very, very expensive lawyers to look after his case, and that's been ongoing for a number of months. I mean, these extradition proceedings were filed back in March, I think, or April, something like that. So the wheels of justice roll very, very, very slowly indeed. And he's been, as his defence argued, he's been living here. He's been paying tax, which is rather extraordinary. He's been drawing a salary for this company, Diamond Holdings.
20,000.
£20,000 a month, yeah, which is not an inconsiderable sum of money, it has to be said. Interesting that he's drawing a salary, so he would have been considered an employee rather than the director of the company or the founder of the company. Although the company is a relatively recent company, but of course it wasn't registered in his name; it was registered in the name of a Mr. Patel. So, to all intents and purposes, he's been living here legally. He's been carrying on his business legally. He's got a national insurance number, and it was argued also that he hasn't made any attempt to evade justice. That he's lived quite openly, which is, of course, one of the reasons why the Telegraph were able to find him in the first place.
All right, we're going to go back to Raveena in just about a minute. We're going to try and reconnect that source with her. Raveena, can you hear me? Raveena, can you hear me?
No, it's just those had expired, the UAE, Singapore and Hong Kong. But he'd applied, even before all of this blew up, he'd come here on a sort of preferential visa, an investment visa, where, as I understand it, he paid a significant sum of money or pledged to pay a significant sum of money. And I would imagine that's that was moving towards some sort of citizenship or application.
Still have the audio line with you. I just want to interrupt and I want to just come in, before you reconnect with the journalist there. I want to ask you one question, Raveena. What does remanded to custody mean? Physically, what will it mean? Will he be arrested? What does it mean?
Yes, really. Mick, we have a question from the panel, because we are live now, as to what does remanded in custody really mean?
That means that he's, as it says, remanded in custody means that he'll be held at a police station on the cells until the 29th of March.
Brilliant.
At a police station or in the cells until the 29th of March.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That was Mick Brown, the journalist from Telegraph, who broke the story and first nabbed Nirav Modi. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure.
Great job, I have to say. Back to you, to the panel, really. Would you want to ask another question?
Raveena, I want to come back to you. So once again, we had an audio break there. So till the 29th of March, and that's possibly what we're breaking right here on the network, Nirav Modi will be in custody at a police station in Westminster. Is that right to my understanding?
That's absolutely right to your understanding. He will be in the custody inside a cell for another week. And that's exactly what remanded in custody means. And the reason is that he is too much of a flight risk, which really means that he has too much of money and too much of reason to run away. He has a motivation to run away. So all his preparation up till now to show that he came here lawfully, he did not come here when the case was on in India. That's what was argued. They offered to pay £400,000 of custody. They gave him their address. They gave him and also the NI number, the fact that he has been working here, he wants to vote here. All that was said, and but something very interesting is that not only that his son lives here and studies here he was visiting him, but also that now he draws a salary of £20,000 from Diamond Holding. He's a taxpayer. He has an NI or a national insurance number, and he is doing educational courses. That was really hilarious that he is doing educational courses here, and therefore he's legitimately a very
Raveena, while he is in custody till the 29th of March, which is 9 days from now, during this 9-day period, will India be allowed access? Will the agencies that are investigating him from India be allowed access?
He is in custody because he is too much of a flight risk. That really translates into that he has too much of a money and a motivation to run away from here. So the court, in other words, has not shown trust in Nirav Modi not running away before the next hearing date, which is the 29th of March, despite the fact that he has shown and prepared for this day by having a national insurance number, being a taxpayer, taking a salary, and also doing educational courses and paying council tax. So that's exactly the reason why he has been remanded in custody. We will learn how much access or consular access he will be provided shortly. But as of now, definitely remanded in custody behind the bars.
All right, Raveena, stay on with me. Let's try and get in some more reactions. I want to cut across to Manish Pandey, my colleague who's joining us right now, right outside the Enforcement Directorate. Manish, now what is going to be India's approach in terms of the agencies that are investigating Nirav Modi? Are they going to be looking at, or do you think is it even possible for them to get access to Nirav Modi while he's going to be practically, literally behind bars?
Yeah, well, Preeti, a team of Central Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement Directorate will be flying to London, and they will be present for the hearing which will take place on March 29. But what really is important is that Nirav Modi has not been granted bail. It can be seen as a boost for Nirav Modi, for the Indian agencies, because not only UK authorities have acted on the request of Indian agencies, but also the court has shown trust on this entire case, which is against Nirav Modi. So this is going to be in favor of Indian agencies, but eventually we have to wait and watch that what exactly happens on March 29. But in these 10 days, whether Indian agencies will be allowed formally and officially to interrogate Nirav Modi or not, that clarity has to come from the court, because the court order will explain whether Indian agencies will be allowed to question him or not, because UK authorities cannot allow without the court order that any officer from Indian agencies can go and quiz Nirav Modi on the entire allegation. They can quiz him only after he is extradited. What we saw in case of Vijay Mallya also, that he was granted bail, but the Indian agencies were never allowed to question him while he was in UK. Only he can be questioned after he is extradited to India. But in this case also, what we are hearing is that once he is extradited to India, then only India will be allowed to quiz him officially. Back to you.
All right. Okay. So a team would be leaving, but there has to be a green signal from the authorities in London for Indian agencies to go ahead and question Nirav Modi. Let's just shift focus here. Now, we saw three parts of the story. Number one, Nirav Modi will literally be behind bars, 8-day police custody. He'll be remanded to custody, practically meaning in police custody, till the 29th of March in a jail in London, Westminster. The second angle, of course, is the Indian agencies angle that are investigating the CBI, the Enforcement Directorate. Now, for them, they'd look at it as a shot in the arm, finally being able to get him, and also bail being denied to him. The third angle, and one cannot deny that angle, would be the political angle to it all, which and I'll bring in Rahul Shrivastav for more on that, which continues to develop at the back of Nirav Modi being arrested and now no bail for him. Rahul, would you reckon it's election? Do we have Rahul Shrivastav? All right, we're going to try and connect to Rahul Shrivastav in just about a minute from now, but let's take our viewers through the latest update that we're getting in. Number one, Nirav Modi bail has been denied. Number two, importantly, Nirav Modi will spend 9 days in police custody. He'll be literally behind bars in a jail in Westminster. It was interesting, the kind of defense that Nirav Modi had put forth. He had said that he was cooperating with the Indian agencies, which clearly he wasn't. He had also said that this is an entire play of politics, web of politics that is being played around Nirav Modi, and he's just been caught in that. He even offered £500,000 security for bail. All of this, in fact, was rejected by the court in Westminster. His case now also shifts to a higher court. His next hearing will be on the 29th of March. Till then, Nirav Modi will practically spend 9 days behind bars in jail. That's the big developing story that we're tracking right now. Now, what we were talking earlier, and hopefully we'll have Rahul Shrivastav on that right now, is the political development that is taking place on the sidelines of it. It is election season, and possibly the incumbent government headed by the Bharatiya Janata Party would be going all out to milk this arrest and rejection of bail where Nirav Modi is concerned. Mind you, this also happens on a day where Narendra Modi actually went addressing the entire Chowkidar controversy, literally so, by addressing a bunch of Chowkidars. I want to connect to Rahul Shrivastav for more on that. Rahul, the political angle to it all will now only explode. It's not just Nirav Modi arrested, it's also denial of bail, it's also Nirav Modi now being literally behind bars.
Preeti, the government was taking body blows as far as the corruption charge and all these fugitive offenders fleeing the country, living a lavish life and being slightly unfettered as far as their lifestyle is concerned. That was definitely bad publicity for this government. It was empowering the opposition, and that is where perhaps the narrative may change now. I don't think it totally absolves the government as far as the fleeing of these fugitives is concerned, though the government has been maintaining that all the loans and all the frauds these men were committed during the UPA tenure. But the fact remains that they fled India under shady circumstances when the NDA was in power, was definitely a blot as far as the NDA government is concerned. And this does offer, as far as the BJP's narrative, the wider Chowkidar template is concerned, it adds to it. You have Christian Michel in Augusta, you have Mr. Saxena, who is already planning to turn approver in the Augusta Westland case, you have got Nirav Modi's arrest, denied bail, Vijay Mallya's process for extradition, say somewhere in the middle stages. The government can build a narrative that it has done something which has not happened ever in the past as far as such offenders are concerned, starting from the times when the Bhopal gas tragedy happened and Anderson escaped India with a certain assistance allegedly from the local police and the local leaders and never came back to face trial. Perhaps in that form, the government will also talk about that how a lot of these economic fugitive offenders do not want to come to India. Why are they resisting extradition? There is a very interesting detail behind it. It is primarily because last year when the Economic Offenders Fugitive Act was cleared, it has made conditions very tough for these people who flee the country after committing frauds. Because earlier, anybody who committed a fraud had control over their wealth and assets till the time the case was decided in the final apex court. They could dissolve it, they could sell it off, siphon it, whatever. Now, once they evade law or courts for a certain time, they are declared offenders and all their assets come to the government. It has already happened in the case of Mr. Vijay Malaya. 13,000 crore of his assets now rest with the government. He will never be able to come get those assets back, even if he comes back and is extradited to India. I think those are the things which will join the political narrative of the BJP along with the Balakot strike in form to fill in that Chowkidar template which has been created.
All right, stay on with me, Rahul.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.